Don't go in there. They're having the let's try to figure out what customers want meeting again. It's gotten a little weird.
Signups are strong, but adoption of key features remains stagnant. What do you do?
We gotta merge that PR. Yeah, we have to. That's our only choice. Okay. We cast merge on the PR for the new dashboard. Oh no.
Your actions have caused the company to go viral for the wrong reason.
God.
Oh no, what do we do?
Roll for initiative.
I can't.
New features shouldn't be left to a roll of the dice. Use DevCycle to ship with low risk and instant rollbacks. Unrolls, re-rolls. How do we make this into a dice pun?
Okay, we have it. All right.
We're up. We're on. Nice. Yeah, I guess long time since we've been doing this, so a little rusty, but not too bad. I think we got in without too many difficulties. Hey, Parth, how's it going?
I'm good. Kobe, how are you? And yeah, kind of first time kind of doing this side of it after a while, so it's nice. We had a nice big long break, so we're back now.
We'll call it an extended holiday break.
Oh, very extended holiday break.
Well, I mean, for you in particular, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I was out of the country for a couple months, so that was nice.
Nice. And yeah, stoked to kick 2025 streaming off again with you. I think it should be fun.
Exactly. I love this is the first time together on the stream, so it'll be nice to see how things go and kind of let's get started.
Yeah, for sure. And I think today we got something slightly different than what we may have done in the past. Similar, but slightly different. I think today, and I think kind of going a bit more into the future, we want to tackle some common challenges, I think, with feature flagging. So today we're going to focus on a problem that we've seen some people try to solve with feature flags and kind of show off the way we tackle that, or the way we would suggest to tackle that. So Parth, is it best for me to kind of lay out the scenario for you and then you can kind of take it from there?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, cool. So it's really interesting. This first one that we want to tackle, I think it's pretty fun. It's something that we actually were tackling ourselves for a new feature that we were building. And at the same time, a customer actually asked us like how we would do it. So we thought, hey, like that would actually be kind of interesting to show off. But at a high level, what this is essentially like someone came to us and said, I'm running a cron job every day at the same time. I kind of want to build the cron job very generic. But I want it to only run against a certain set of customers at that 1 o'clock. And the question is basically like, how would I use feature flags to ensure that I am running this generic cron job that hypothetically could run for everyone, but only doing it for a certain set of users? So pretty simple in terms of like the overall concept of the problem, maybe a little bit more challenging in the implementation. But yeah, Parth, maybe kind of like take us away.
Yeah, I think it's a great problem, or I think something that we'll see a lot of people kind of find this useful, hopefully. But yeah, I think this is like a kind of interesting thing because you want to sometimes not run cron on everybody, right? And it's like just save resources, and also just making sure that whatever you're running is kind of behaving the way you want it. And yeah, I think just to kind of set the scenario a little bit, the goal today is going to be just like set up a cron worker that will either like that will take run the cron job depending on few scenarios. And let's say if somebody were to come and ask me, he's like, hey, I want to run a cron job for a certain like a set of individuals. I think the first question I would ask is, how are you determining the set of individuals, right?
Yep,
like
100%.
What are you going to do? How are you going to figure that out? And what do you think, Kobe? What are some ways that you would be doing this?
What are some of the ways that I would be doing this?
How would you be determining
feature flagging?
Sorry?
With or without feature flagging?
I mean, it would be with feature flagging, right? Because that's the kind of
Yeah,
idea.
I think there's two basic ways, right?
Mhm.
I would think of one is limiting it out based off of a list. Whether that's like a list of IDs, I guess would be the thing, like customer or user or something like that, depending on how we're grouping people. If it's by kind of like, I mean, I know for us, we think about organizations, we think about users, so it could be one or the other there.
Yeah.
Or beyond a list, limiting it out by some sort of like custom property.
Yeah. So it would just be like kind of per user property or just like a list of users, right?
Yep.
And that's I think the biggest kind of distinction of like how you would do it. Another thing that kind of came to my mind is like when you ask the question is like with feature flags or without feature flags.
Yeah.
I think the first question would be like, why wouldn't you use feature flags for something like this? Because
That's legit.
as we've been talking about this, like feature flags are more than just toggles of just like on and off, and it allows you to do much more than that, right? And that's kind of where you want to take this.
Yeah, I mean, at least for me personally, since we hadn't really pre-discussed any of this, it was like, okay, where are we going with this? Are we setting like a stage of like what you might do without feature flags first? But I mean, hypothetically, the answer is kind of the same. I guess the answer is like kind of the same in the reality. It's just in the execution and then I'd say like the quality of your execution, like how flexible something is in the feature flagged or non-feature flagged world.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where I would put it as well. It's kind of a good starting point at least. Where I would kind of go from there would be kind of how would you want to run these cron jobs? And I think one of the best things one of the new things that I've learned recently is that you can run Cloudflare Workers on a cron interval, and
nice.
It just kind of gives you more access to power or just like resources. There's also like you could use GitHub to do the same thing. GitHub Actions also have cron like triggers.
One I've been playing with the most myself, but I don't know if this applies in the context. So I do a lot of like tasks in like Snowflake, but that would be like way more specialized.
Yeah, and you're saying that Snowflake also has like cron triggers for?
Yeah, so like to run like a daily or whatever the interval is, run a daily job to like dump data into like a table or things like that.
Okay, that's good. That's nice. Yeah, that's fair. I would want to probably use Cloudflare and get started as like setting up a worker that runs at a cron interval and then adding the aspect of feature flags and making it work differently. There's going to be like we can talk about some of the implementation stuff in the sense of like what makes a best implementation in this case, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah,
but I think
that sounds good. Why don't we just dig right in, eh?
Yeah. Let me open up some Cloudflare docs. All right. Where are we? Yeah, let's just start right here.
Cool.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, layout looks pretty good.
Yep. All right. All right. So moving on. Let's go straight to resources, documentation, and where am I going? Worker quick start. I think that's a great place to start for everything.
Yep.
All right. Let's see if there's a lot of stuff here. I'm just going to. We don't have a template, or actually, refer to. Fine. Let's just.
You can just use kind of like, do they have a boilerplate?
Yeah, there are some boilerplates. I just want to see what type of stuff you could use. I think we just want to use something very simple. But the CLI arguments were create, and then there was a template with a repo. I don't know if you have anything in mind, but
I don't personally.
All right, let me just go back here and see example projects of Edge. Something like this REST API.
I don't personally know Fauna, but
I don't know Fauna either. I was trying to find like a good starting point. Let's see.
Sentry might be okay. But like, I guess but I mean the log exception concept. But I mean, I think any of these, right?
I think any of these should be good. I just don't know what they're adding in
Yeah.
there. So that's just why I was like trying to see if there's something specific, then we can add that. Let's try this one. Let's try
It's just gonna add the like Sentry package, right?
Yeah, very likely. I'm just going to add. Okay. I'm going to start screen share again. Sorry, let me move this to my second monitor so it's easier. And then just. Oh, we have.
We have a commenter from Casual Economist.
Yes, we do.
I would say maybe not new. We're like old but new. Each of us had been on Andrew's streams before, never together. But yeah, we're now kind of taking on our own streams, I guess.
Yep, exactly. Is it this one? Share.
Oh,
do you see the Great Hollywood
skyline
with my terminal running? It is wide.
Yeah, it's relatively small. You got a pretty wide screen, but
I can switch it up. Sorry.
Oh, interesting. I'm just playing around with the
yeah.
You can show the comments.
Mm-hmm. Just 1 second. Can I?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna do the window for now, and then share. Yeah. All right. You see this? I'm just going to create. Use the create Cloudflare command, and I'm just gonna call it Cron runner. Yes, go for it.
Cool. Okay, we're off to the races.
Template must contain a Wrangler.qml file, which I don't think was added then, because let me open up my here and see what we got. Or actually, sorry, not that. Yeah, it's still empty. So the Sentry one didn't work as how you would want it. Did I miss something? I don't think so.
I think there's a bunch of other worker examples if you wanted.
I'm going to do Hello World.
Okay.
Because I think that is a great...
Generally a great starting point.
Yeah. I think this is good. Hello World Worker. Yes.
There you go.
Perfect. TypeScript. Yes. All right. I think this might have worked for us.
Nice.
And Do you want to use Git for version control? Yes. Do you want to deploy your application? Yes.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we want to test it running, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, this way it just does everything for us. We don't have to worry about
yeah.
creating a worker and everything on.
Guess the question for the next stream is, could we just do this all in like Replit or something like that?
Oh. Is that what you would want? Did you want to do this in Replit?
Not really.
Yeah.
At some point, I find every time I play with Replit, it just like at some point gets into an error loop, and it's like you're trying to blend like debugging the code with debugging what the agent wants to do.
I personally really enjoy just like putting everything on my computer and just like using it that way. Just because I don't know, like Replit is just a online ID, right?
Yeah, it's literally just like no coding. Like you just talk to an agent, and the agent goes and does the thing.
Yeah, that reminds me of all the memes you've been seeing about OpenAI and their, what was the name? I forgot the name, but they had this it was supposed to be like replace your software engineers with this person, like their agent.
Oh, well, they've the operator, but like you think about like the Devin or whatever. That's
Yeah,
like,
Devin. Yeah, Devin's gonna take your jobs. Is what are the memes that I remember.
yeah, I haven't heard of Devin, and so like it's funny. Like this is only probably a year ago, but you don't hear about Devin anymore.
I think that's a good thing, though.
I have no idea if any of this stuff is good or bad or what. Right? Like we'll
Yeah,
see.
that's true. All right, so we have a cron runner here. We have a worker actually. So now we need to see how to run this on cron. For that, we'll have to go back to. Okay, this is the one thing that I am not enjoying right now is having to switch.
Is it mainly just because like you're widescreen?
Yeah, it'll just be like too wide, too small. So I'm just like sharing tabs, or like sharing just the
yeah,
window.
maybe you can probably just go to the full screen and then just zoom in on the relevant, like just zoom in the relevant things, and then can we crop it all in the layouts?
All right, let's see. I have my cursor running here.
And we can even do something like that.
All right, I have these two. Can I make it any bigger? I could.
Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, it's probably better.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks good.
And then there's a hello
perfect.
world. And I was going to go here. All right.
Yeah, perfect. You can zoom that in maybe a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
I
I think
can do
this
that.
way is a way better way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little messy, I would say.
Yeah.
Worker, cron, triggers.
It's way cleaner than my desktop.
Oh, my desktop is not clean. You've seen this, like whenever we're in the office, you probably see it and be like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" Like whenever Cautious is, you're like, "Oh, this is too many things happening here."
Nice.
Wait, did I open it? What was it? Setting cron trigger for workers. Okay, so you just need scheduled, or let's go to TypeScript. This is in Wrangler. In the, do we have the TOML file or the JSON file? We have the JSON file.
Yeah, probably based on because it was Hello World.
Yeah. We can just add something like this here. Triggers and this is where I just go make it run daily at 2 a.m.
Yes.
Oh, I'm using Sonnet Thinking 3.7.
Okay, what are you thinking about? How are you finding that?
It's pretty good. it's able to find stuff, but there's like a bug I was running into, and I was not able to like fix it how I would want to.
Yeah.
And it took forever. And I'm just like, I just need to go in and debug on my own. Like I can't trust Cursor for too much here.
I find debugging is the like the major frontier, right?
Yeah.
Like if they can solve debugging for things that like, well, I think the biggest challenge is gonna with all this stuff is gonna be the fact that as things like ChatGPT and Cursor and whatnot get better, Stack Overflow and things like it are going to get worse because no one's posting anything to those places anymore.
Yep.
So basically, there's going to be less of a compendium of these problems and their solutions going forward. And so if Cursor can start to solve novel problems without there being like a background of, hey, I've seen this problem before and this is how to solve it, then it gets really great. If we don't have that, then I think it'll become more. It may get worse over time, but I don't know.
That's true. That's fair. I can agree with that. Like even now, I think Stack Overflow is like very less used, right?
Yeah. My understanding is that ChatGPT and Cursor are just like destroying Stack Overflow.
Yeah.
But...
Exactly. All right, let's find a free API to use. Weather API. Open weather maps.
Nice.
I just want to call something.
Damn.
Here.
Dump out the weather from Winnipeg every 30 minutes?
Every 30 minutes, yeah.
Right.
Where do I need to subscribe? I don't want to subscribe. I just want to use something that's just... Yeah, I need to sign up for everything.
Let me see if I can find what's a good free API. See what Perplexity says.
Oh, let's see. Let's see if this curl just works. It does work.
Okay, cool.
Nice. Okay.
And what's that one returning?
I was just going to change it in here after. Like open it in a new tab and then change the stuff. So what do we have here? We're asking for hourly temp, humidity, temperature, relative humidity, wind speeds.
I guess ideally just spit out temperature now or something like that. Keep it simple.
Yeah. So it has current.
Yeah. So just spit out. Yeah.
Temperature.
Maybe just filter it for that or something like that.
Yeah. And then you can just do what is it? Current. Oh yeah, we need to get the JSON. So const data equals that, and then data dot current dot is it temperature underscore 2m? I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Why underscore 2m?
It's part of the like we're asking it in 2m. I want to see what that means in read docs. There you go.
I mean, we don't need to get into the specifics of what this.
It might be 2 minutes, but yeah. And then hourly. I don't think we care about all this. I'm just gonna put it. Okay, I don't know where we're getting from or what information we're looking at, but whatever it is, I think it's colder than Toronto.
If you paste that, I can tell you where that is.
Yeah, let me tell you. I'll put it in private chat. All right, so we have this, and then when we run it, it should give us this, right? I think that's how it would work. And yep, scheduled. It will run this when it's running through the schedule job. You know what? Let's change the schedule a little bit. Run this every 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. And there we have the scheduled run, which will basically run the code and give us the forecast for this place in let's just do this.
It looks like this is Berlin. I think it's Berlin.
Okay. Nice. We have Berlin weather. And where was this? In scheduled. Okay. Test scheduled. Let's try this. Whoa. Missing the enter point. And then ready on this will expose a underscore scheduled, and then you can do scheduled with whatever cron. So if I were to do this, oh, this is actually prod. Nice. Localhost 8787 scheduled cron. Sure. Ran scheduled event. Is that what we wanted?
Yes, so that runs it. Now you just need to output it.
But I thought my output was saying cron job executed with the temperature. Let's try where is it getting ran scheduled event from?
It's a good question. Tess?
Doubt it, because we didn't add any of the underscore schedule stuff in there. Did I read something wrong in here? Testing is using Wrangler. By passing in test schedule flag to Wrangler dev, this exposes underscore schedule, which can be used to test using an HTTP request to simulate different cron patterns. A cron query parameter can be put in as that.
It's like simulating. Does that make a difference?
Yeah, it is simulating.
Go to the Wrangler file.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have this anywhere. Scroll down. Weird.
You just do ran. Nope, there's nothing for ran schedule.
Fun.
Right. Well, great. Okay, we have something that will run on schedule. Let's can we just push this code and then
run it every 5 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, we could do 5 seconds instead of 10 minutes. I've been talking to cursor. Wait. Cloud workers to run every 5 seconds. We need to add their special syntax. Okay.
Cool.
I hope this works because the other one was star 10.
Yeah. We'll see. It'd just like be better to have it be running at least sub-minute.
Yeah, 100%.
Than have it be waiting. I guess you could just do one every minute, but yeah.
Yes. Now we need to just deploy the code. So, wait, is this using yarn? I don't know. Wrangler deploy. I thought that's how you do it.
Wrangler dev is to start, I think.
Yeah, Wrangler dev is what we npx Wrangler
Deploy.
Just so it knows what to actually deploy. Oh, I need to log in.
And an invalid cron string.
Invalid cron string.
Yes, maybe turn it into a 1 instead of a.
Yeah. Let's just check what's here. Array of cron. Commenting out cron key will not disable a cron trigger. Okay. I'll just do 1 instead and hope it works.
Yeah, I think it's better.
But that wasn't the error. Error was do that.
Yeah, it should just be star.
Invalid cron string.
What's your cron string?
It's just you want it to be star? All stars?
Yeah, it's the way to do it. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is it 6 or
6 or 5?
I think it's just 5.
Maybe that's why I was tripping. Yeah.
Try that, yeah.
It's just it is 5.
Woohoo.
Okay. We have this. All right. Let me see if I can.
How do you run for Cloudflare Workers, how do you run the logs so you can see what it's hitting every minute?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the logs up. You can go to Cloudflare. So this is kind of Cloudflare. You go to your workers.
Yeah, cool.
I opened up Cron Runner, which is what we are kind of using right now.
Sweet.
And it just says listening to events. Can I run scheduled? Oh, there you go. Cron job executed. Reading property of undefined. Reading temperature 2M. Okay.
Cool. So at least we have a cron going. It's just not. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's talk about our main issue at hand first. How to run this, like just for certain kind of a list of things, right? So.
Yep. So yeah, do you want to do list of users first, or do you want to do dynamic like property first?
Yeah. What is it?
Whatever you prefer.
Let's do list of users first.
Okay.
Yeah. And that will be it'll be something. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm not on any different projects first of all.
Are you just loading up DevCycle?
Yeah, I'm gonna load up DevCycle and then just go to my org.
Cool.
All right. 1 second. Let me just get the logs out of this. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll obviously need to fix the cannot read properties of undefined, but that's okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
At least we know a cron is running. The what it's spitting out, does it really matter? At least for our purposes.
Yep. All right.
Cool.
This is good. This is good. All right. Let's create a new feature. Let me make this bigger. Yep.
Yep.
List of users.
Or
And
do you want to call it, keep it more generic? Keep it like,
Oh.
yeah, you're just talking about like selective cron running or something like
yeah. Give me a good name. Kobe.
that? I don't know.
Run cron 4.
Yep.
All right. Perfect.
Hit me with creativity on the spot. That doesn't really work well for me.
It works well. He's user IDs. Let's do it that way. And this will be an array.
Yep.
So when it's off, it'll be like just empty array. When it's on, we can have Kobe and Hearth.
Sweet.
Right. Oh.
Yep.
That's
yeah, it's gonna auto do that. Yeah. I feel like you need to zoom in a bit more.
Yeah, I can zoom in a bit more.
Yeah, cool.
1 second. Okay, so on variation we have Kobe Parth, and then we have that. We'll update that. Make it so that it is on for all users in development. Save that.
Cool. So we'll have to talk, I guess, once we get this all going. I think we'll have to circle back and talk about like what it is that each of these parts are doing. But I think for now we can just like truck through getting the thing set up. But I guess for anyone who's watching this who hasn't seen DevCycle, DevCycle is a feature flagging platform. What we did here is create like a first feature flag for to manage this cron job that we got running. So very quick TLDR. I think we'll circle back on what every piece is doing once we get it all kind of hooked up.
Exactly. I'm just gonna copy the bucketing.
Yeah, you want to use the bucket. So yeah, I guess what SDK would you use here in Cloudflare Workers? So you just like no SDK, just do it purely from the API?
If you have a list, then I would push for just using it from an API. If you do have a list, I would kind of push to that's what I was gonna go for after this, where it's like if you don't have a list, in the sense of like if you don't have a set list, then it's kind of harder to run this on every single user on your end, right? And for that, you would want something like our local bucketing SDK.
Yep.
I would possibly just run it through our, I don't know, like our Go bucketing SDK, which is possibly one of the fastest, and just have an API that you get all of the qualified users from.
Oh, so you're running that on a server that like the worker is calling out to. You're not going to like host it on the worker.
Yes, and the reason for that is I think you get just a better, longer running system out of it, and
you don't have to put necessarily like user context into the Cloudflare worker.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so we have our everything is set up, but now I'm going to do something that Jamie would hate me for. And going to hardcode some things here.
It's fine.
All right. Const SDK key equals. See, even they want me to just use environment variables. I just want to do it quick so that we can show other things.
I mean, we have 20 minutes on our stream here, so this is called speed coding.
It is called bad coding. And what is our variable key? It is run cron for.
Yep.
Now variables. So we're doing the Kobe, you want to talk about the bucketing API and what it's useful for?
While you're hooking this up, yeah. Well, bucketing API basically is just the API that underpins most of our SDKs, at least the client-side SDKs that hit our servers to pull a decision. It actually runs on Cloudflare Workers itself, but basically hosts the logic of how we're making decisions about which users or which entities should receive a certain value for a feature flag. So this is just us exposing the underlying API so that you can use it however you want, at least from the DevCycle side. If you obviously are running in a specific language, like if you have a mobile app or website, or you're running on, say, like a Go server, we generally say, hey, like, use the SDKs that are designed to be performant in those environments. But hey, if you just want to use all of the raw functions and call the endpoint directly, it's a pretty nice, flexible way to do that.
Yep, exactly.
Reasonable explanation? Or are you too
Very-
focused on setting yourself up?
No, I heard you, and that's checks out. Everything checks out. Basically, what I'm doing here is just getting the list, and then kind of we'll just see what the list does. Let's just deploy again to Wrangler. See, this is why I love using Wrangler. You can just deploy stuff, and it's super quick. You don't have to worry about a lot of things. And there are new stuff should be up soon. Yeah, it's running every second.
Cool.
Request with a...
It's running every minute, right?
40... oh, yeah, it is every minute, yeah. Request with getter head cannot have a body. Oh. Sorry, how? Get method cannot have a body. I need to put this data somewhere. I thought it would just go into body. But let's see. Let's ask.
Hopefully Cursor's seen this error before.
Cron here. How can you help me fix it? Let's see. Yeah, it's supposed to be a post call, I guess. That's why. I just like change it to post, it'll work. All right, we have that.
Cool. And then because you're running it with user ID as cron runner,
Yep.
it shouldn't actually run the cron, right? Because your user ID is not Parth or Kobe.
No, it will run the cron, and let me tell you why it will. It will run the cron as expected right now, because we're using our variable as just an array, right? It's just like we're using it as a remote variable, which I know we don't usually love doing, but this just makes it kind of quicker. If you have a list, I think this is what you would do. Use it like if you were to use it through your another set of like SDK that's just running to get all the qualified users.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're targeting through a list, then you would run it. You would set it up differently, correct? Yeah, Kobe, what do you think?
Well, I would think it. So my general thought process, the reason why I asked the question is that effectively what I would think you'd be doing if you're saying variation on, I'm running this cron job for user ID of Parth and Kobe, I would generally expect that this, like, however we're setting this up here, it's not going to run until this user ID is in that list.
Yeah, but we didn't do a user ID thing, right?
Yep.
So, oh, I forgot to press live. Sorry, that was on me.
Okay. And is it actually still running the cron to the weather?
No, we got rid of that.
Yeah.
I just have it so that it's running, like, getting the list and then just showing us the list.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, it's getting empty response. There's nothing in the data.
Is the
Oh, there is. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Value is user IDs and then Kobe and Parth. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So essentially, dot user IDs is what we called it. User IDs.
It doesn't like something there.
It just doesn't like the typing of just
Yeah.
any. So this is how you would essentially get your user IDs and then be like, okay, now I have a user ID of Parth and Kobe, or I have the list of users I need to run cron for. So you would just essentially do data dot user IDs and for each. Now let's set up another feature, which will just be actually greeting, which would be string. Now my idea is that depending on the user, you would get a different greeting, and if user is not part of this, then you just get a different greeting, right?
Yeah. Well,
the idea is just like it would only run for Parth and Kobe and not for everybody else.
Yeah.
Until we make a change in things. So it should be hello and we could do it so now we can use the user ID. So if user ID is Kobe, you want to say hello, and then if Parth, if user ID is Parth, then you want to serve variation off. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense? And then greeting. So for each user ID, we're going to take the response and we're calling this for user ID and let's just say response data for user ID and then data.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't this just work for us as well?
Well, this one right now, because your user ID is cron runner, it should go to default, but default right now is off, right?
But cron runner is for the first one, for run cron for. So this is basically like get a list of all the users, and then once you have all the users, or to traverse that list of users to get the greeting for that user.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just like did it in a somewhat of a hacky way, just to make sure that like the idea is to like how do you run this just for set of users, right?
Okay.
And determining what that set is for you.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, let's wait until it's deployed. It shouldn't take too long. Kobe, what are your thoughts on this process of doing it? Essentially, this would be another call that your API is running.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some trade-offs which are interesting in the way like this is being executed, but from a roughly hewn mechanism, like I think it's not bad, right? You're saying, okay, I'm going to make the one call to just get like all the things that I care about, and then another one now I'm just going to call out individually for the things that I want. I think that you can obviously see the ways in which I can maybe group these. The interesting one that I wasn't necessarily expecting when you were kind of like tackling this from the outset is like running this as like two separate flags. Because like that seems to, at least to me, as probably an unnecessary step. But at least from this perspective, like I get now that you've kind of walked me through it, like, yeah, it works. Like it's a quick and dirty way of kind of handling both sides of the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see if this worked. Response data, Parth, Kobe.
And then does it give you? Did you print out the response for each of them?
So response data is supposed
to be the
good,
response data for user.
and then we're still doing this after that.
Yeah, so we're not getting response data for user.
Yeah.
So the question is the why there.
So response data, this will call, like we have a list of users now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
user. Sorry. Is the problem there that you're doing user underscore ID is? Oh no. Okay.
That's
you are pushing user IDs into user ID. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. At least we're seeing. You know what? Can I just do? There you go. I just want to make sure that response data shows up properly, and then we can get that. I have a feeling that this is something to do with this. Just the way like kind of async works with kind of the for loop.
Yeah, but that's interesting how you're changing that, because I would have expected that the for each would do what you're doing, that would do what you're looking for. But I guess okay.
It's just I think because it's an async for each, just kind of gives me less confidence there. All right, I'm just gonna clear this out and keep it live running. Okay, we are good. So I guess I kind of tackled both of these in one, of like both implementation of how to run cron. It would just be that, let's say if you have a list of all users, and then if you need to like kind of check if you're running the job for certain users. So
you obviously user ID is like kind of quasi similar to just like the concept of the list, but you could sub in like any other property that you then associate with that list of users on top. So basically quick and like very quick and dirty, just kind of did both of those that we set up at the outset.
Yeah, we have like 5 minutes. Let me just...
Yeah, so maybe that clearly worked there.
Yeah.
So maybe what we do now with 6 minutes to go is just kind of like maybe now take the time to explain the setup here, explain like what you'd set up in DevCycle, even just from a generic perspective. It doesn't really matter that it's DevCycle, but like what it's all doing.
Yeah, 100%. So kind of the main idea that we had was how are we going to run cron on a selected list of users. Now another thing is this allows us to do something like sorry, I'm just gonna add a new variation. So this is why you would use feature flags. Default would be high, add variation, and then what I'm now doing is adding another variation to greetings, and this is like rest of the users. All users will get default. So now we have on, off, and default. So now we have 3 states of this feature flag. And I'm going to show you exactly why I did that in just a moment. So if I go to run cron 4, now one good thing is we have this list, right?
Yep.
What if I just want to add another, like a test user, right?
Yep.
Test user ID. Update. And say, I don't need to change what my cron is doing. Like I don't need to do another deploy of the cron, but it will essentially now, ideally, change it from Kobe and part to be Kobe part and test user. There you go.
Yep.
And now you can see all three of these variations in effect. So this is why kind of first thing I said was like, why would you not use a something like feature flags or even if it's just for a remote variable?
Yeah, I mean, like I guess the question that begs asking there is like, what if you're saying like for those that wouldn't necessarily have thought about feature flags, you're saying like why, like what would you have done like without feature flags? I guess is also the good like Steelman case of like, okay, what how would you tackle it and what would be the like trade-offs, right?
Yeah, so I mean, like ideally, what you would have to do is like your list of users would be somewhere here, right? It would be like
you probably have like a config file, right?
Like environments or configs, right? You would have it somewhere, and then that you need to deploy. If it's a file, then you have to update it and then actually change the deployment. But this allows you to do, like, gives you the flexibility. But let's kind of take a step back of like why we would do something like this, or if you like, how would this work for a set list of users at all times?
Yep.
If you are just looking at running this cron, like you would essentially forget about whatever I'm doing here, right? This would just be like essentially run cron for each user, whatever your cron is. Your first step is get all users you should run cron for, and then run the cron for each user. If your users don't change, this is perfect because it allows you're making one API call, getting all the whole list, and now you have that list of users to use. If you were to have a dynamic approach, what you would need is like a way of getting all of your users, and we all have something that can allow us to do that. Like if you have like a database that has just all the user IDs or organization IDs, whatever it is, you can always, instead of making this API call for every single user, because like if you're doing this for every single user, it becomes very, very intensive on the network.
That was my next question.
So that's where you would use something like local bucketing.
Yep.
Now,
and so you'd probably run, like, instead of using like running this all on Cloudflare and having a call out, you'd have it connected to something that you're running more locally on like a Go or Java or Node server, and then you kind of manage the user profiles there, and then kind of like manage kind of like the networking in one place.
Exactly. You'd essentially change this call to going to bucketing API to go to your own backend.
Yep.
And you would say, hey, just get me all the users I need to run this cron for. And then you would just run it for that for those users.
Yep. Yeah, you just like do one then call with like your list of users or whatever, and then just like apply it out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then this would just run it for, like, this is whatever your cron is running, right? For our use case, we just end up using like the bucketing API because it's just easier and simpler.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you threw that together on the fly, but I think we got to the there was a point in there where I wasn't quite sure where it was going. Then we like landed the plane not too bad. So
okay, as long as it's still right side up, right?
I'm still wondering now, as I'm thinking back through what we did, I am wondering the detour, or I was wondering where the detour to the weather was going to come back into it, but we.
Fair.
we didn't do that one, but that's okay. Next stream we'll figure out how to fit real weather into it. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think I've always wanted to like use weather API for something. We used it to get Berlin's data for like a little bit. I think I'm happy with that.
Nice. Well, I guess that's I guess to wrap things up, that's our stream. So hopefully helpful. I think we went through a little bit of, you got a little bit of like how do you use like Cloudflare Workers, how do you get set up with some like boilerplate, how do you create a cron and call it to our APIs, and how do you use feature flags as effectively like a replacement backend to, I guess, dynamically choose who and how you want to run kind of like some data retrieval for. So I think super interesting. If anyone has any questions, not on this one, or if there are problems that you would like help solving, definitely hit us up. You can always check out our Discord. We can. Nice. You are way ahead of me. You're so good. Yeah, bit.ly/DevCycle Discord is the place to find us, or just go to devcycle.com and we have the Discord link strewn about the header, the footer, everywhere. So you can definitely find us pretty easily. So this is what we're hoping to do a lot of the new year, talk about general challenges that people have, try to be as helpful as possible. And maybe we'll do tackle some people's cool ideas.
If you have any ideas, please send them our way on Discord. Feel free to tag Kobe or myself on Discord, and we'll be more than happy to integrate those in.
Awesome.
I think that's it for today. Good stream.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kobe?
I think it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, we're shaking off the rest.
Yeah.
And I think, we'll chat about what we want to do a little bit different next time. But I think the bones are there, so we'll keep on trucking.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice. Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
everybody. Thanks for your time.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.